What's poppin' and welcome back to a brand new video. It's the 3rd of June, we've launched the app a week ago, we've gotten some downloads. We're currently, lifetime, we're sitting at 14 downloads. It's not too bad, not too great either. I think like probably 8 of them or 10 of them are my friends. So maybe we've gotten 4 random downloads, actually gotten 1 random review, which is really nice. We haven't really marketed the app yet, and that's just because I wanted to test, what's it like when I launch it? Does it work? Can I buy it on the App Store? Does all of that stuff work? And good news, it does. So now it's time to start marketing the app, getting the app in hands of people, and for that, we gotta make a plan. Like you've seen in like episode 2, I've had a plan for a while on how I'm gonna do this, so it's all been in my head, and I've been doing this for like 10 months now, so I've been subconsciously thinking about, okay, how am I gonna get this app in the hands of users? How am I gonna market this app once I release it? And now we're getting to that point. So let me summarize a little bit what I'm thinking and how I'm gonna get this app to users and the strategies that I'm gonna use. First of all, every marketing strategy needs a little bit of a branding strategy. I don't really believe that brand needs to be super detailed, especially not for these younger, smaller startups. I think that can kind of develop as you go. But I think you need some kind of idea of what kind of brand identity you want to portray once you launch into the market, and that's what we've established. So as you've seen, we've been using a lot of like orange, bright orange, pink, red colors to kind of give that lively, warm feeling, which is kind of one feeling that I want to portray. It's going to be warm, it's going to be friendly, it's going to be youthful to some degree. That's kind of like the brand identity, the brand colors, and also relatively simple, like minimalistic and a little bit playful. That's why we're not really going with that, like black or white or stuff like that. We're going with like colors that stand out and colors that are warm, which will make the brand a little bit playful and a little bit more fun than just a minimalist brand would. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is kind of like the tone which we're gonna take, and the tone is gonna be also very youthful, very funny, very personal. Because I think before, the parenting used to be a very serious thing. It used to be, you gotta be in bed by this time, you gotta be in bed by that time. But now a lot of people are younger, they're in like their 28 to 30, and if you think about it, they were born in like what, they were born in 1990s. So they're very young, they're very hip, they're very technology native, and I don't think they take life as seriously, in a good way, as some of the older people do. So that's why we're gonna try to be as playful as possible. Like we're gonna be posting memes on our social media, for example. We're gonna be making jokes, we're gonna be maybe not having such a serious tone, and we're not gonna take life so seriously, and I think that's gonna be beneficial because we're gonna be very relatable, as opposed to someone that takes a very strict and boring tone. So that's gonna be our general tone. This is in order to appeal to a younger audience, and also because I just think personally that it's more fun to do that. But with this stuff then, we're gonna take this little bit of an identity that we have, and we're gonna portray this on various social media and marketing platforms. So I kind of made a little bit of a short list of all the marketing methods that I'm gonna use, and I'm not gonna do all of this at the same time because that's impossible. So I'm gonna split it up into high priority, medium priority, and low priority. With the high priority, I'm gonna start doing this summer, like in the next 1 to 2 months. The medium priority, I might start this summer if I feel like it, and the low priority is gonna be for like fall, once we want to implement that in the future. So priority number 1 is App Store optimization. This isn't really marketing per se, but it's more optimizing the App Store with the correct keywords, with the correct stuff, so that people who want to find your app can find your app, and also once they find your app, they're encouraged to download and test the app out. This I'm not very good at. I'm gonna do some research with this, but I paid someone on Fiverr, for example, ping that up here, who helped me do some of this to begin with, and then we're gonna have to optimize this throughout. So we're gonna be checking, for example, how does our conversion rate change on App Store Connect? How do our impressions change, etc. And then we're gonna try to maximize that and make that as good as possible, because 1, it's free, and 2, it's apparently how most people find apps. That's gonna be the number 1 priority short term, to make sure our App Store optimization is very good. Moving on to the Godfather of Marketing. I think this is probably the first form of digital marketing, and it still works apparently. Email marketing. Who doesn't love a spammy email telling you for the 5th time to sign up for this service? No, but we're gonna try to be a little bit different like that. We're gonna retarget users, we're gonna retarget people who have started the trial but didn't finish it, etc. We're gonna reach out with our blog posts, all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna try to build quite an extensive email list, because we're gonna get a lot of emails, and people are consenting to this, by the way, when they're signing up for the service. So we're gonna try to collect as many emails as we can, and then we're gonna retarget these people, or reach out to them if they didn't sign up to begin with. And then I've also collected a little bit of emails through this YouTube channel where people have signed up on the website to be notified early once I release the app. Moving on, we're gonna write a blog. And this is something, when I asked this on Reddit a while ago, a lot of people suggested to make blog content. Apparently, it's mainly good for SEO, so maybe people don't really have to read your blogs, but if you have the correct keywords, so if we had like children's stories, bedtime stories, fairy tales, all those kinds of stuff filled in blog posts on our website, it's gonna be easier for people to find the website interested when they, for example, search for kids stories or children's bedtime stories, children's audio bedtime stories. So we're gonna lead people through the blog to the website for them to find the app and then sign up via that flow. So it's kind of like if you picture it as a funnel, we're gonna try to get people who organically search for a keyword. You're gonna end up on our blog, you're gonna read parts of the blog, you're gonna end up on the product page because you're interested, they're gonna end up on the app store, they're gonna start a trial, and then they're gonna become a paying subscriber. And as you can see, it's quite a big funnel, so there's gonna be a lot of drop off throughout that whole process. But if we can get the most people in at the top, we're also gonna maximize the number of people at the bottom, which is why we're doing this and putting in quite a lot of effort to make a lot of blog posts so that people can find our site organically. Also, it's free, so it's gonna be a lot easier if you have a large share of your traffic being organic. It's gonna make it a lot cheaper to drive people to your website, and your cost of customer acquisition, how's that for a fancy word, is gonna be a lot lower than if you pay for it. Then we have some app store ads, and this is now we're kind of moving into the medium priority where it's not super high, but we're still gonna try to do it this summer, and that's gonna be app store promotions. An app store promotion is basically where you pay for someone, or not pay for someone, you pay for a spot. You know, at the top of the app store you can sometimes see an ad, so you search for kids stories and you kind of see a sponsored ad at the top where a relevant keyword, your app will pop up and people might press that one, or they might press the organic ones, but if they press your one, you pay for that and you pay for the download. Once you get a little bit more sophisticated with marketing and you start knowing like the lifetime value of your customer, these types of ads will be very useful, because then you can kind of know, okay, what's the value of one download? How much is one download worth to Wonder Sagas? Because people tend to say this long, they tend to pay this much, etc, etc. If we get to that point where we can kind of have a knowledge of what that figure is, we can try to put that cost of acquisition just above the lifetime value. So we don't make a profit, but we don't really make a loss either. We kind of just break even and we can grow our user base. And then once we have started doing that, word of mouth and all that will kick in. So the point in the beginning is going to be user acquisition and growth, not necessarily profitability. We're going to try to break even and maybe lose. We're definitely going to lose some money too. But that's gonna be the priority to begin with. After this, we're moving into the high / medium / low, because not all of these are not gonna be done at the same time. But now we're moving into the classic social media platforms like Reddit, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all of those ones. So I think what we're gonna start with is a YouTube campaign where we pay some micro-influencers to promote the product. I think they're gonna be quite cheap, and I think they can also be have quite a high conversion rate, because they're gonna have very dedicated audiences, hopefully, and then they'll convert and start paying for the app. We shall see. We're gonna have to make a YouTube campaign, so we're not really gonna make too much YouTube content of our own to begin with. Maybe we'll put some sample sagas up on YouTube once we start to have a large portfolio of sagas and we can afford to, you know, display 50 of them on YouTube, for example, for free to get people interested. But to begin with, it's going to be people promoting the service via their own YouTube channels. That's going to be a project which we're going to do, which is going to be quite exciting. We're going to do a micro-influencer YouTube campaign. I think the budget for this is going to be like $500, 5,000 Swedish crowns, and I'm hoping that one influencer takes between $50 and $100, for example. So they're going to be quite small accounts, but nevertheless should be quite exciting. Then we have the more organic social media channels like TikTok, Instagram, Reddit, and this is just, we're gonna try to post as much stuff as we can in order to get people interested in our organic content to then sign up for the service, because, you know, they heard of us through organic socials. Here we're gonna have that youthful tone. We're gonna, you know, try to provide some value. We're also gonna be friendly with people, interact with people. As you may have heard from my last 50th episode, I actually had a social media company in the past, so this should be a breeze, right? Probably not. But I do have some experience with this, and when I had my own social media company that I helped other companies with their social media, I actually developed my own model called the DWCI model, hashtag fake it till you make it, again. And what this stands for is deposits, withdrawals, content, interaction. And what these 4 parameters mean, I'm gonna explain that, and this is what we're gonna use through our whole social media journey, is deposits. This is where so you can kind of view your social media status as a bank account. You can make deposits and you can make withdrawals. You don't want your withdrawal to exceed your deposits, because at that point you're bankrupt and you're gonna need someone to bail you out. So you're gonna make sure that you balance your deposits and your withdrawals so that your account remains at a healthy level where you can still spend money and you still have some cash saved up for the bank, but you have some money for that rainy day once you need to make those withdrawals. And deposits, those are the kinds of posts and the kinds of content which they create value to some degree. It can be information, it can be motivational, it can be comedic, for example. But it's posts which don't really act for anything back, rather they provide value to whoever is listening. You're making a deposit in their social media account. Then on the other hand, a withdrawal, that's when you ask for something back. So that's, for example, when you post a post saying, hey, we have 20% off right now, go sign up for our service. And you see a lot of accounts doing too much of this, in my opinion. A lot of smaller accounts particularly. Like they'll have a web store, for example, and all they do is just bombard your Instagram feed with product pictures. No one cares, man. People don't want to buy your stuff all the time, but rather it's valuable being on top of mind, because when someone has seen your meme and they know your brand, and when they think, okay, I need to buy one of those products, you are the brand which they think about, which is going to benefit you financially. Therefore, we're going to try to provide more value, therefore make more deposits than we make withdrawals. That's going to be very important. Then the other two are kind of self-explanatory. They stand for content and for interaction. Content, this is basically maximize the amount of content you put out, make sure that it's not too shitty quality, but don't put too much emphasis on the quality, focus on content. Put out as much stuff as you can, which is partly what we're gonna do when we get going with this whole thing. Interaction, that's just basically interact with your audience. You know, go to hashtags, go to other people's videos, comment, like, etc. So that people get an eye open for you, and also so they feel like, okay, this is actually a person behind this brand. It's just not a robot posting stuff in the feed all of the time. Okay, I feel like that was quite a lot of stuff, and I have no clue how long I've been talking. I feel like a rap god over here. If you're really ambitious, speed this up to 1.5 speed. If you're not, then slow it down, because I feel like I talked really fast. Apologies for that. All in all, this is kind of our marketing strategy, and today it starts. So I think now we're going to start developing an Instagram strategy. We're going to develop the blog. We're going to work on our YouTube campaign promotion, and we're also going to do some updates to the app as feedback comes in. And then once we're at the place where we have a 1.1 version of the app, we've corrected all the initial bugs, like not really bugs, but more like user journeys that are not the smoothest right now. So we're going to update those kinds of things. Then we're going to make all this stuff happen, and we're going to make all the planning for this while we do that. So once the app release or the app update is done, we're going to begin marketing this whole app, and we're going to grow the hell out of it. I appreciate you watching these videos. Hopefully you find some value, hopefully you find them interesting to some degree, and for future Herman, I know you're gonna find them interesting. With that said, please leave a like down below and subscribe if you find it interesting and want to follow along this journey, see where we end up, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.